Hello, and welcome to Totally Schway Flipside. My name's Mary.
And my name is Luke.
Hey, Luke. I have one question to ask you today. How has your day been?
Average.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, Luke and I went to a comic shop that we like over here, and I'm going to hate myself so much for saying this because so many Americans used to ask what this meant. We had a cheeky Nando's.
Oh, yeah.
An
An average Nando.
Yeah, an average Nando's. And now we're ready to watch some TV. Before we do that, though, I think we should talk a little bit about what we expect from the show. By the way, I don't know if I said it before. It's been 2 seconds since I said it. We're watching Smallville, the first episode of Smallville, which premiered on October 16th, 2001.
So this is a very fitting anniversary.
Yeah.
At the time of recording, it is what? January the 20-something, 2025. Perfect timing.
Exactly. I think that a show that is 20-something years old, I have to say this, I have exceptional hopes.
Yeah.
Because it was on the WB. And we all know that the WB shows were obviously A1.
Well,
I don't think I'm putting my sarcasm
you are.
out. Okay, good.
I was just going to say that I've never watched Smallville.
Neither have I.
I caught like a glimpse at one episode. And I remember I was in school when it first came out, and I remember someone said, "Did you watch Smallville last night? It's like Dawson's Creek without the creek." And I was like, "Oh God, no."
Can I admit something?
Go on.
I have only ever watched one episode of Dawson's Creek, and it was the very last episode.
And it made you a fan for life.
I don't think I've ever watched it since. I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad show because I can't actually say it's a bad show because I only watched one episode. But if it were down to that episode, it was all right.
Mhm.
But it wasn't like I need to go to the creek now,
Mhm.
Creek for life. That wasn't what I, wanted to watch that evening, but it was the only thing that the antenna picked up.
So I guess that was my answer to your question about what we were going to expect. And I'm expecting Dawson's Creek without the creek.
So I'm also expecting Lex to have hair, which, by the way, Lex Luthor is our Lord and Savior, Michael Rosenbaum, obviously. I'm expecting him to have hair at least in the first season. Well, we're only watching one episode for now.
And you did say Lex Luthor, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, Lex Luthor.
Yes, I said.
Because his father, Lionel Luthor's in this. I know that much because it's John Glover. And he has a tremendous mane of hair.
Oh,
yeah.
It's... Our cat just looked at us, was like, hair? Yeah. So this is so interesting. We're 3 minutes and 15 seconds in. Let's go watch Smallville for the very first time. Oh, I want to put my prediction out there.
Okay.
I think the best thing that is going to come out of this episode is going to be the fact that Michael Rosenbaum looks exactly the same as he did in 2001.
My prediction is that John Glover's hair is going to be very lustrous.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think they're gonna make a joke about him using his X-ray vision to look in the girls' locker room? I think they might do that.
Oh God! Of course, it's a WB show. So UP and WB to me, obviously they're the same thing, because the WB merged into the UPN.
This means nothing to me.
Yeah, and that became the CW. So it's the same thing to me. So if I go in between UPN and WB, don't mind your business.
Yeah.
I'm too old.
No pedantry here, says the biggest pedant of the lot.
Okay, so we're gonna pause this for now, and we're gonna go watch the show.
I think we should have like a little jingle to indicate the passage of time that goes like...
Welcome back. Okay, let's just get into it. Let's not diddly-daddly. What did you think?
I thought it was naff.
Oh, no.
I didn't like it. But I just want to say I was lied to. There was a Creek in that first episode. Jeremy Creek, who was like a male live wire.
Yeah.
And
they said he was the Scarecrow.
Yeah, but they put anyone that got tied
know.
up was the Scarecrow. Clark Kent was the Scarecrow, spoilers, for 25-year-old show nearly.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah, go on.
I'll probably watch more of it. I don't think I loved it, but I am not that's not my demographic.
No,
I'm not a 2000, well, I was a 2000s teenager,
so was I.
but um I lived a completely different life than that. I was not an alien. Well,
Well,
I felt like an alien most of the time, but I don't know, I'll probably watch some more of it because I feel that I want to see where they go with Lex. I do.
mhm.
And when is Lois gonna come in?
I don't think she comes until near the end, but I've not seen it, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, because she's not from Smallville, is she?
No, she's not.
She is not. No,
No.
I didn't hate it, but it's just there are things that a lot of 2000s shows did this to me where I didn't hate it, but I guess it might be my neurodivergent mind that does this to me. You cannot that this guy puts he's full of
He's full of
electricity.
electric.
Electricity. And he puts his hand on like an old pickup truck and
Yeah.
he turns it on. And in my mind, for the rest of the episode, I that's all I could think of.
Well, you know what? Maybe that is kind of how cars work because you need the car battery to provide electricity to
Yes, but
start it.
you have to do the ignition thing first,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe. I mean, I'm
But
not a car person.
I'm not a car person. I know how to change oil and I know how to change a tire and I also know how to call AAA.
Yeah. Well, listen, that wasn't the only thing that I found incredulous. I mean, I had the same reaction to you. I was like, do cars work that way? Maybe they do.
They do. Because I know you can jump start a car, but
Yeah.
it's not like you still need the ignition.
Yeah.
And,
That,
yeah.
well, that's right, don't you? But
If you're 30 mechanics in the chat, like,
oh, I'm sure there will be.
please tell us how cars work.
But the other thing that I actually audibly went, "Oh, come on,"
What was it?
was at the start when Lana Lang's parents got hit by that meteor.
Yeah.
And it's like,
should
you're
laugh.
telling me you wouldn't have seen that coming. You would not have heard it. They were just, "Hi, Lana, we're going to stand here by another car." And what's that coming in the distance? Boom. Like, come on. Come on.
Can I be honest, though? The high school kind of reminded me of my high school.
Yeah.
Mind you, I didn't go to that. I didn't go to. I went to high school, but I went to, for the most part, I went to an alternative school.
Mhm.
But I tell you what, my actual high school experience, a lot of those people looked like that, and they use it. Oh my God, the phrases.
Mhm.
Can we just be like not doing that?
Yes, I mean it was very, very early 2000s,
Yeah.
wasn't it? That's why I didn't really care for it.
Like I said, I'll probably watch more of it. In all honesty, I probably will because I want to see where this goes. Because it is 10. There has to be a reason there was 10 seasons. I think there were 10 seasons.
Was there 10 seasons?
I think so because it went from 2001 to 2011, I believe.
Okay.
That's what it said on Wikipedia because that's always right, isn't it?
Yes.
Um, I know it just brought some like not great nostalgia back because I felt like I was like a kid in high school again, watching all of, like the cool kids and the people. So you had the cool kids, right? And then you had the we're not cool kids, but the cool kids tell us what to do, and then we do those things so they don't like they're not bad to us. And then you have my little group. Okay, my group was because my brother and I we went to the same high school. Nobody really messed with me because although my brother and I didn't live together, they knew that I was you know,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was just there, but the cool kids were still really shit, if I'm being honest, because they thought they were better than me. And then when I would do better at them in English class, just saying, you're not that cool. And when I say English class, I'm talking about like writing class, creative writing and stuff like that. So yeah. Bullies.
Can we talk about Lana's necklace? Because
Oh God.
I thought it was quite a neat idea.
Yeah.
That Lana has a kryptonite necklace, so that when Clark gets close to her, it goes, oh dear, and falls over.
Neat.
I thought, okay, that's a nice way of playing into like his clumsiness, is that he's not being clumsy, he's poisoned.
Yeah.
However, If Lana wears that frequently, she's got cancer.
That's exactly.
She's got cancer. They're gonna kill her.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, because what happened to Lex?
Yeah.
I know his was on a greater scale.
Yeah. But even in the comics, Lex Luthor had a kryptonite ring,
Mhm.
and they ended up having to amputate his hand to try and stop him from dying from the cancer, but it didn't work. So,
I should read these comics, shouldn't I?
well, there's an awful lot of them.
Yeah.
I suppose that necklace is with Lex now, isn't it? Because she gave it to her boyfriend.
That was the last scene, wasn't it?
One of.
Yeah, one of.
That she gave her necklace to her boyfriend because it's brought about enough bad luck. It's bound to bring about some good luck now. Very flawed logic, by the way.
You know what? It's Midwestern and Southern logic.
Yeah, but if you want to, your boyfriend's football team to win the game, you don't give him an object of bad omens like the meteorite that killed his parents. No, you don't. You don't go. You know what? This object has brought about bad luck to everyone that's ever had it. I think if we give it to you, it's going to break the streak. It's going to do the opposite. That is insanity.
Maybe she's trolling.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. That it was all a big joke at his expense. But it also served another purpose, didn't it? So he was wearing it when he decided to make Clark the Scarecrow, and that's why Clark couldn't defend himself, and that's how he ended up tied up like the Scarecrow from the promotional image that we'll probably use as the thumbnail for this podcast, with the S painted on his chest for Scarecrow.
Okay, hold on. I know that seems like such a ridiculous thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Things like that happened.
Yeah.
Where I grew up. Can we just stop doing things like that? Like, hopefully they have, but things like that are just so stupid. Like tying someone up, on a post or whatever. Just like, let's not do that.
Yeah, Big Mikey P, cut it out.
Hey, Big Mikey P would never. Big Mikey P would be the one that would get them down and be like, "Do you want some juice?" I don't know why. I just think Big Mikey P would be that guy that, because he has a diabetic friend, he'll always have a juice box in his car.
Yeah, maybe he does.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll find out next time, won't we?
Yeah, but I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what did you think about the whole Lex thing? We didn't get a hell of a lot. Here's the thing about this first episode, and I kind of figured as much halfway through, that you're not going to get a ton of info for every character. We got kind of the origins of Clark a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because that we're not going to talk about the kids that were playing the kids and what ages they were and how I think he would have known he was an alien, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we didn't get a lot about Lex other than we saw Lionel. Mm-hmm. Briefly. We don't know if Lionel is still alive. I am assuming so.
He is.
Because, yeah.
They all talked about him in they all talked about him in the present tense. Like, the reason why Clark couldn't accept the truck for saving Lex's life is because his father, Jonathan, doesn't like Lionel Luthor. Mm-hmm. And so that indicates that, he's still around.
Yeah, so we didn't get a ton there, so maybe we need to watch the second episode?
Yeah, maybe we will. I don't know.
I will.
I don't know. I mean, I thought Michael Rosenbaum was fine as Lex Luthor.
Oh my gosh. Very young.
Yeah, he did look quite young.
But he looks exactly the same.
I must admit, I do find it very funny. The opening scene, I guess, where basically how he loses his hair.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, he was present when the kryptonite asteroid crashed. It knocked all of his hair off of his head. It gave the Creek guy, Jeremy Creek, gave him electrical powers. Killed Lana's parents. Flipped the Kent's truck over.
So. Here, can we rewind?
Well, can I just say there's very broad results from being exposed to the kryptonite, I suppose.
Yeah, but can we rewind?
Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit. Okay, first off, what was Lionel doing shoving his kid alone in a field where he probably didn't know where he was? What kind of person does that? Evil.
Well, he took him on his business trip to set up his fertilizer plant. He's like, one day this is all going to be yours, even though you're 9 years old. Mm-hmm. And then silly Lex just wandered off in the field.
With his inhaler.
Yeah, which he dropped in the mud and then put in his mouth, which was gross.
Mm-hmm. there are a lot of issues and
Yeah.
continuity things that we
And
could talk about.
I just find it very funny when Lionel's like, Lex, where are you? And he looks down, there's just this clump of ginger hair there.
Yeah,
He's like, oh no, my son.
it's like it is unrealistic hair. It looks so like
Oh yeah, it
yeah,
was a wig, wasn't
yeah,
it? It was for
obviously.
the
It
actor.
was just oh my goodness. I
It's just so random. Like, oh, the meteorite crashed next to me and knocked me over, and it blew my hair off.
we're not being kind to this, but I
While
didn't
while the
hate
guy
it.
while the guy 2 feet behind me was given electric powers.
CSI would never.
Yeah, if I was Lex Luthor, actually, I'd be pretty upset because, this incident that gave people powers and created all these weirdos in Smallville, like the guy who grew extra fingers on his hand in the newspaper headline.
Mhm.
His power was he lost his hair.
That we know of.
Yeah, he won't have any superpowers. He won't.
Well, Michael Rosenbaum, in his self, in real life, is a superhero. So maybe that
Maybe.
is the thing. So it sounds like we really didn't like it, but I didn't hate it. It
No,
was not the worst thing I've ever seen. It was not the Keith Lemon movie.
no, no. I mean, it's not bad. It's just odd.
I think it's one of those things where I'm going to have to watch like at least the first season or something. I
Mhm.
just hope I haven't checked, but I think I'm so used to UK. Well, I don't watch a lot of television, but UK television having like 6 to 8 episodes, whereas when we were growing up, like American television, it had what 20 episodes per season,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's really draining to sit and watch that when you're um. It's different nowadays because a lot of us have ADHD, and the people who are writing these also have that, and they're like, let's cater to our people. Let's have things that are fast paced, but let's not have one thing last 10 episodes and da 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 da. So I don't know. It might be like that, but I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see.
I.
We'll see anyway.
Yeah.
I wanted more from the other characters as well because I know they're Clark's friends, but I wanted more of that, and I wanted more of the origin, like, because they started off with just Clark coming down, like his little spaceship coming down. I want the before, and I don't know if they do that in this show, because to be honest, I don't know much about the show. The only thing that I knew about this show before is my mom likes it,
Mhm.
or liked it, I should say. But, yeah, I thought I would end up, to be honest with you, I thought I was going to hate it.
Mhm.
Because I think I mentioned this before we took a little break to watch it. I am not the biggest fan of 2000s television. I like CSI and I like Law and Order SVU. And here's why I don't. It's because I was very much into just movies back then, and I would go to the video store and rent movies or watch TCM, and that was kind of like my thing. So watching these shows nowadays is opening my eyes a little bit to the culture, I guess, that was around. Although I grew up around that time, I have always been um I act like I'm a huge people person and everything, but I isolate myself because I feel comfortable that way. But when I'm around people, I feel like I mask and kind of act how they want me to act. But there was a point when I was a teenager where I just didn't go out. I didn't do anything other than watch movies, watch TCM, read, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think around well, I was like 13 around this time. So I was probably starting to do that by then. And honestly, it wasn't the nicest thing growing up in the South for someone like myself. And I feel if I would have watched these TV shows, I probably would have tried to act like those people.
Which people?
The people in the TV shows.
No, which specifically? Like that you talking about?
Tried to probably mimic Lana.
Oh, really?
Not like the touchy-feely thing, but just like being nice and stuff like that. Because I remember um before I know what I know about myself, before I knew what I know about myself now, I think I said that right. I just masked what people wanted me to do, especially in high school and in my early 20s. And I would have seen something like that and wanted to be like that character.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been like, oh, okay, where's my kryptonite necklace or something like that. Does that make sense? I hope it does in some weird way. Somebody else understands what I'm saying.
I'm sure they do.
But I'm glad that I didn't watch a lot of current TV shows back then because I think I would have been more miserable than I was. Because also I would have been like, oh, these kids are blah 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 blah, and I'm like, oh hey, I'm just alone in my room listening to the old hi-fi system. Literally, I had a hi-fi system. Probably, yeah, it was when I was 13. Um, I had an old hi-fi system with a record player on top that I would listen to in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm.
there's a little blast from the past explanation for you. But yeah, I didn't hate it, and I'll probably like it more as I watch more of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the first episode, if I was watching this and trying to decide whether it needs to have like a couple more episodes or if it needs to be renewed, I would have been like, yes, just because I want to know what happens to Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another part of me, sorry I interrupted you.
That's fine.
There's another part of me that's like, I just wish there was more to this episode.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been a two-parter.
Could have been, but you wouldn't guarantee that anyone would come back and watch the second part, would you?
No.
But there's no guarantee of anything.
Two-parter was, I mean, like, a lot of shows, I think they might still do it now, have 2-hour pilots.
Yeah.
Rather than, you know,
an hour long one. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so question, what did you think of the main threat, Mr. Jeremy Creek?
What do I think of Livewire?
I just thought it's because you didn't like Laurie Petty very much.
Who?
The voice actress.
Oh no, I like the voice actress.
Oh, I thought you didn't like her voice.
No, I don't mind the voice actress. It's just I don't like the I don't know. I think it's probably a fear kind of thing because I don't like fire or like electricity like that, and I don't like that character.
Yeah, well, they've got very different motivations, though, haven't they? Whereas Livewire's very obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Tank Girl.
Yeah, Jeremy Creek, meanwhile, is like, I'm going to punish the jocks that tied me to a stake and stripped me to my underwear and drew an S on my shirt, and I had to be saved by a little ginger boy whose hair was blown off. I can't get over that.
I didn't care for that plot, so much. It wasn't
It wasn't very fleshed out, was it?
not really. And I think I don't know, I just didn't like that particular part of it.
Yeah. I mean, his whole thing of, oh dear, I've seen Clark be tied up as the Scarecrow. Now I've got to go and kill all the other school students to stop this from happening. Like, did all of those school students actually have anything to do with it, or was it just Whitney and his chums? I didn't think it was a very well.
12 years.
Yeah.
And he's good. Where's he been?
Well, they said he'd been in a coma for 12 years.
Okay, I was.
You were not paying attention.
Gilgamesh almost sat beside me.
No.
He started making biscuits, and then I was like, oh, and then he didn't.
Yeah, so he'd been in a coma for the last 12 years after he'd been exposed to the asteroid, meteorite,
what do you think
whatever.
Happening to the electricity?
What do you mean? What, his electricity powers?
Because it left him. Do you think it's going to come back to somebody else?
No.
Maybe that's the whole season. It just goes to each kid.
Well, maybe. But it seemed more like he burnt his powers out by getting wet, which is how Superman defeats Livewire most of the time. Push her in water and she ends up getting put in a coma.
Truth.
And it was a bit of a... How can I say this? It was a bit of just like an abrupt ending. Like, oh yeah, he got electroshocked and now his memory's gone. So now he's nice again. He's like, I want to go home.
Nipples?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. They had a lot to cram into this first episode, Superman's origin, which frankly, I don't think there's a person on the planet that doesn't know that Superman is from the Doom planet Krypton and was adopted by the kindly Kents.
Would you? I'm joking.
I just the main things I take away from this episode is that they crammed a lot in.
Mm-hmm.
They were very, very abrupt in some places, like the bit with the Langs getting hit by the asteroid.
That was just that was far out. Like,
it was just so absurd. And there were multiple meteor strikes.
But let's remember the time that this aired. It was in 2001.
Yes.
So it was probably well, I would say about 2000. They probably started filming it, and they'd probably written before that and all that. And a lot of that was like very literal things and very like, you have to do it this way, and kids just don't understand unless you just do it in some silly, outlandish way.
May I present Batman Beyond, which was also airing at the same time?
This was not a kid show.
No. And yet...
Obviously, I'm joking.
And yet Batman Beyond storytelling was more sophisticated.
Yes, but that's down to the writers and the creators of this.
Yes.
Whereas the writers and creators for Smallville, I believe, were part of that UPN weekday evening lineup.
Yes.
Type thing where it's got to be, I think you had your Seventh Heaven, you had what are some other shows? I know a lot of shows like that, because in my mind I'm thinking around this time that there's Nip Tuck, there's 6 Feet Under, but those were completely different, and those were totally different.
Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, Dawson's Creek. Yeah. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They were so outlandish sometimes, even with not even just like being aliens or something like that. It's the storylines were so outlandish.
Yeah.
Because not only did she have to have a boyfriend, she had to also be in love with her next door neighbor. And then he had to have a girlfriend, and then she had a boyfriend, and then they all went to the same dance.
Yeah, I mean,
something like that.
That kind of stuff was in the comic books as well, like the soap opera stuff. It was in there, and so I'm not saying it's inauthentic. It's just, I think the main issue is they had a lot they needed to cram into this first episode, and it would have been better if the first episode was a little longer. An extra 10 minutes. That's what I'm saying.
It would have been better as a two-parter.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't hate it. I will watch more of it. I have decided. Best parts of it. You know what I'm gonna say.
I don't. Actually, I like the bit where Lex hit Clark with his car, and then Clark saves him, and Lex says to him, "Oh, I thought I hit you," and Clark says, "Yeah, if you did, I'd be dead."
Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, he was
obviously
all right.
That's my favorite part.
John Glover. John Glover was great.
2 seconds he was in.
He was in at least 2 scenes.
Yeah.
He was very good.
No, I'm obviously joking. I'm not really a creep for Michael Rosenbaum. He's not my type. He is awesome, and I love him as the Flash. He's my favorite Flash, and
he was very kind. He sent us a very nice message.
Very, very lovely.
Yeah.
Probably going to be one of my favorite Lexes, but we all know who my favorite Lex is.
It's Michael Schway.
It's Tom.
Gene Hackman. Actually, Gene Hackman's good.
You better watch your mouth in this household.
There's not a bad Lex Luthor.
Clancy is my favorite.
Yeah, Clancy Brown, of course.
After I'm getting you had my blood boiling. Okay, so I loved Michael Rosenbaum in this, but I just like, I don't know what it is, but I like the bad characters a lot. When I say bad, I'm talking about the baddies, not the bad actors. And I think they're gonna play this in a way that I might not end up liking it, because I think they're gonna make him the angsty teenager or the angsty 20-something, and I'm sorry, but the faux angst is I don't like that. So forgive me for not knowing the main actor's name, but he seemed great.
What, Tom Welling?
Is that his name?
I think it's his name, Tom Welling.
He was great.
I didn't think he played the angst stuff very well. Like when it was revealed to him that he was an alien.
He wasn't talking about him being angsty. He was talking about...
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is he didn't play the angsty stuff very well. This is supposed to be like a revelation that he's an alien. It's supposed to, like, you know, break the ground from underneath him. And he was just like,
he was also
I'm going to run away.
But he was also thinking about a girl.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we like a boy or a girl, things change.
Yeah.
According to the UPN, CW, and the WB.
Well, yeah, he did go and stand around in a graveyard until she turned up on a horse. And as you pointed out, they framed a shot with some foreshadowing. He's standing in front of a statue of an angel and it looks like he's got wings. And you're like, oh, yes, nice foreshadowing there.
I think it will end up being a good show.
Well, it lasted a long time.
Yeah, I think it'll end up being a good show. I just need to see more of it because I'll tell you what, some of my favorite TV shows that I have watched, I have hated the first seasons of. I'm good because the Nip Tuck, I did not care. I didn't hate the first season. I just was like, meh. Then that second season came and I was hooked.
Mm-hmm.
Hooked. 6 Feet Under, that doesn't count because I liked all of those seasons. But so other shows, I just did not like that first season. And then after that, it kind of, and it's because a lot of shows are like that. They need to get their foot, into that mud. They need to get a little dirty first. And sometimes that means they need to be a little, I don't want to say the B word, boring.
That show wasn't boring by any means.
That's why I'm saying I don't want to say that.
Yeah. But
it's kind of borderline too much, which makes me a little bored because I'm like, that is too much of 2001 there.
Yeah, you have to wonder how many compromises they made with the pilot episode just to get greenlit, and then once they're established, maybe they can do better things. I mean,
that's
the case.
That's totally relevant though, because a lot of pilots around that time, just to get those extra episodes going, they would let those execs get in there and be like, no, this would never happen, even though I'm a 65-year-old telling you how a teenager would act in 2001.
Yeah,
a lot of things like
that. I was born in 1920. I know exactly how the 2000s teenagers act.
But yeah, and then things got better. So hopefully that's with this. But yeah, I didn't hate it.
No, I mean, I didn't hate it either.
It's a lot because I will tell you, won't I, if I don't like something.
Yes.
And I will be very blunt about it. And sometimes it can come off as rude. I'm not meaning it to be rude, but if I don't like something, I cannot pretend. I mean, I've gotten to that point in life where I just cannot pretend to like something if I don't. So I'll give this a chance, which means I'll probably end up loving it.
Start buying all the merch.
Yeah, imagine this being the new Family Guy. To watch this.
Oh God, I hope not. I'll end up actually paying attention then. I suppose if you do end up watching all of this and you do like it, you're going to have to watch the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover because some of the characters return for that.
I gotta be honest with you. That's like my phrase of the day. I will watch that because Kevin's in it.
I was going to mention that. I've only watched the Kevin Conroy bits and I've gone, that was okay.
I don't know if I could watch every one of those CW shows just so I can, because I can't just watch that. But I don't know if I could actually watch the rest of those shows because I watched the first season of Flash, the first season of Supergirl, and the first 3 seasons of Arrow. I got a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, you watched a little bit of Legends of Tomorrow, didn't you?
2 episodes.
I think so. Yeah, because you asked questions who characters were and said, "Oh, you've not got to them yet."
Yeah, and because it was getting quite confusing to watch.
Yeah. Then there's Black Lightning to watch as well, which I've not watched, and Batwoman, which I've not watched.
So much.
And Stargirl, which Dot Widener said we should watch as well. Even though it's a bit more high school.
That. Okay, so I keep cutting you off today.
Yeah, you do. I know. I'm used to it. I've been living with you for 15 years now.
You've loved every moment of it. Don't lie. Now I just forgot why I cut you off.
You were saying so.
Okay, so how many stars would you give this out of 10?
6.
I would say I'd say 7, 7.5. Will watch again, but if I stop liking it, I'll stop watching it.
Seems fair.
Can we get to the comments now?
Yeah, let's go to the comments.
This last episode was really long.
Totally Schway episode was very
Yeah.
long, yes, because of all the comments.
But I like the comments. I think they're the best part of the episodes.
All right, so first comment then we have is from Big Mikey P. Mike.
Yes.
Who says, seeing American Dad for the thumbnail doesn't seem to bode well. He doesn't like American Dad, apparently.
That's okay.
Oh well, got to control biases. If I have a Kevin Michael Richardson counterpart to Principal Lewis, there's Samurai Jack's Demongo. For fans like me, his cameo return in the otherwise controversial Season 5 is a gem too. Mortal Kombat 90s, greater than Event Horizon. Or it might be the...
Maybe that was the
Is
Event
that
Horizon.
I always get
I
confused
think
by
he's
this.
saying that the Mortal Kombat was the Event Horizon, right?
No.
No?
No, that symbol means it's either greater than...
I know what the symbol is. I did go to grade school, you know.
So it's either better than or not as good
So
than. So very specific there.
Event Horizon, like the one with Mark. I'm gonna stop joking. I'm gonna stop joking.
Event Horizon with Sam Neill, presumably.
Sam Neill.
Was it even Sam Neill in Event Horizon? Or
I don't know.
I don't know what I'm talking about. No one listened to me.
Dream.
I'm just going to finish this comment. To mention a medical counterpart to the Grey's Anatomy character, there's Major Sidney Friedman from the MASH TV show. Surprisingly, his actor actually declined becoming a main character despite his character's popularity. Arguably, he did the right call. DCEU Perry White is wasted on an unwatchable fictional universe. Though, if only he's kept for James Gunn's DCAU. No, it's the dude from The Wire who was... I can't remember his character's name, but he was the guy that always went, "Ah, shit." He's Perry White.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
I love him.
Anyway, what about Larry Fishburne being the Beyonder in the Moon Girl cartoon? I haven't watched it, so I can't say.
It's on Disney.
I think so, yes. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Devil Dinosaur was a good card in Marvel Snap. I used to play that religiously. Poor old Lois and Clark show had to end on such an unresolved cliffhanger with the baby on the doorstep. Might want to rewatch Blackadder, but alas, don't have a copy with the Cavalier Years special in it, so plans shall take a while.
Lois and Clark. When was that?
Mid-90s.
I've never heard of it.
Shut up.
I don't know. Are you talking about that one show that Terry Hatcher was in with that?
We don't talk of Terry Hatcher.
We love Terry Hatcher, but there's the guy. Yeah.
Anyway, to continue the comment. Still remember its final season, though. Poppy Fields, thou shalt be forever remembered with shed tears. Great 6-episode shows. Our FLCL and Gunbuster can't fit that criteria in the anime side of things. On the web series side, there's Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, which is also British. Seriously, Luke really succeeded in piquing me with The Trapdoor. And considering that said show is free to watch on YouTube as of writing, plus they're all shorts and not half hours or full hours, temptation strong. Yeah, watch it. Even if you only end up watching like the first 2 or 3. It's worth watching. What was the dude's name? Rushton. That was his name. Willie Rushton. He's the guy that does the voice over. You might find some of his accents that he puts on maybe a little tough to discern, but depends how good your ear is for British accents. But anyway.
By the way, I'm joking about the Lois and Clark thing. I know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I just don't like the Dean Cain.
Yes, I know. We find Dean Cain distasteful. Anyway. 34-38. Now, the most likely question is, how did I not watch this back in childhood? For this is Schway. That Spawn opening thing featuring Todd McFarlane brings into mind, the Kiro Biros analysis end stream thing for Cardcaptor Sakura. Kiro-chan, Cheku. I don't know what any of this is.
Be able to say any of those.
That's why I read the comments.
I love it so much.
We tried doing it with you once, and you were just like, I don't know how to say this word. Luke, how do you say this word? Luke, how do you say that word? And I was like, just give it to me and I'll do it.
That's why when there was one episode where I did the comments on my channel, and I literally just put the comments on the screen rather than doing that, because I'm a great reader, but it's just reading out loud. I get overly anxious.
I need to continue this comment now because it's going too long. Admittedly, it's mostly my fault because I'm.
It is your fault.
Those 2 randomly appearing Dream Realm kids in B Train's Mad Lax, named Letitia and Poopy, poopy, really, as far as I remember, and the Sleepless Domain webcomic in Interstitials, blah, 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 featuring the powerful and enigmatic magic character Anemone. Yeah, okay. Wait, no Cabbage Merchant from Avatar: The Last Airbender? Haven't watched it. Not even his The Legend of Korra Cabbage Corp descendant and the alternate universe iteration from live-action remake show, who's even played by the original voice actor neatly enough, question mark.
Was that show, The Last Airbender, was on Cartoon Network?
I believe so. Andrea Romano did the voice direction for it.
44,
46, especially the ones from Kill Bill. Bonus if one watched the works that featured some of the music, like Lady Snowblood. Surprised Julia is a huge fan of that. 4507 in 1987 and 2017 versions, both for me. Oh, and also tied in with the moon theme of the NES game, its Way Forward remake, and again the 2017 cartoon. When it comes to 80s music, wonder if Julia can be at home with the Dirty Pair anime, especially the Project Eden movie, with tracks like Over the Top Safari Eyes Matters to Me and Through the Danger. Star-Lord's Awesome Walkman, Curse Ego for Destroying It in Volume 2. Little love for Greg Wiseman's Gargoyles when it comes to the music here. Me sad. I like the title sequence music, but the rest of it, meh.
I knew of the show and I watched tidbits of it, but I never really watched all of it, so I don't know. I can't remember a lot from it.
1 hour, 1 minute and 44 seconds. And I'm serious on that. Look up the music on YouTube and Spotify and hope they'll impress you so much you guys and gals end up checking out the media that plays them. Like innovations to the gateway for the Palace Beautiful. Yep, I'm quoting Pilgrim's Process, or was it Little Women? Only then will appeasement be assured. Oh, thank goodness you're here is a good game. Would like to try it myself sometime. If you've not played it, how do you know it's a good game?
Luke played it and he liked it.
Spoilers for Doc Widener's comment, but anyway.
I'm going to play it soon.
1 hour, 11 minutes and 34 seconds. It was a long episode that time.
It was too long.
And I counteract him. The H-Bomber guy review. Seriously, Fallout 3 is not Game of the Year quality anymore nowadays when compared to stuff like Deus Ex 1. No, not Smallville. Why not? I don't know. Beast Wars Transformers, reboot, or review Starlight.
Because I pick the topics. And
I watched Reboot when it came out, but anyway.
I don't know if you guys know this, but on flip side, I tend to pick the topics on here, and on Totally Schway,
you tend to pick them as well.
I do tend to pick them, but I do ask Luke occasionally what he wants. So every 5 episodes he might get to pick, and then I'll veto it.
All right, next we've got Lowell Lucas Jr., who says, "Get out of the way, it's Totally Schway. Principal Lewis is off his meds again, so prepare yourself for a gun-blazing school day. Steve Smith, stay away."
Luke hates Steve Smith, by the way.
Oh, I do. If he was my son, I'd be so disappointed. I'd be like, Stephen.
Just because he's so...
Stephen Smith.
Stephen Anita Smith, excuse me.
I couldn't remember his middle name.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Anyway, to continue Lowell Lucas Jr.'s comment. Thank you all and Happy New Year's to everyone. Hope you are enjoying the new upcoming year presented to us all. I did get my eye surgery and trust me, eye scraping hurts quite a lot.
No.
So to help the healing process, I got HBO Max again and binging Penguin Creature Commandos. Really enjoyed them and appreciate the past episode coverage of Penguin. Hopefully you can do one on Creature Commandos in the future. Well, Mary doesn't want to do episodic ones anymore. She, apart from the first episode of this show, the first episode of that show.
Yeah. It was so. Unless we did it like we were, Luke was very fortunate with Batman Cape Crusader because he ended up getting all of the episodes because they send him a link to it. So we got to watch it beforehand, and we ended up doing all those episodes right then and there. But when it becomes weekly, I don't have the bandwidth.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to continue the comment, but maybe we could talk about Creature Commandos as a whole.
Do that, yeah, as a whole, as in like the season, definitely, because it was really good, and I wasn't expecting that.
Yes. Anyway, continuing the comment. Also, I don't know if either of you are fans, but have you seen the latest Wallace and Gromit movie, Vengeance Most Foul? Feathers McGraw is a favourite monotone villain, and the film is hilarious with the great return of our favourite inventors. Haven't had this much fun since The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Still can't believe Jeffrey Katzenberg wanted to Americanise this British duo, even wanting to change Wallace into an American Hollywood actor. Such sin from another Scrooge exec. Also, yes, I love Trapdoor. We haven't watched it. I think it's... I mean, I'm sure the new voice actor they've got to play Wallace is fine. Don't know if it hits the same without Peter Sallis voicing him. But I will say Trapdoor, the creator of Trapdoor, works on the Wallace and Gromit movies. So
I can appreciate the Wallace and Gromit stuff, but I don't think I've seen it. Have I?
I think we watched one of them, the Wrong Trousers. I think we watched at Christmas a while back.
I think so.
The one with the penguin that pretends to be a
Yeah,
chicken.
that was really lovely, actually.
That's Feathers McGraw who.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was really lovely. I had just thought I had never seen it, but no, that was nice. Maybe we should watch the rest of them.
Yeah, can do. Continuing the comment, now on to our favourite dastardly principal, friggin' Principal Lewis. Seeing him smack Steve with a coffee pot still has me dying on the floor, then laughing above him, slowly saying, yeah, is the icing on the cake. Still love it. I'm surprised neither of you talked about his Trigon. Perfect antithesis to his magical Joker, Principal Lewis. Then again, this man did a lot of voices, and thanks for remembering his Goro. His Manitar Elder voice from Gravity Falls also evokes manly terror. To Mary, love Todd McFarlane with his intros. It felt like something out of Night Gallery or The Twilight Zone, only being voiced by a New Yorker trying to be goth like Neil Gaiman. Yeah, let's not talk about him anymore. But he is our Todd father after all. Aside from Spawn, he was also behind the creation of Venom. He and fellow comic artist Eric Larson both competed with drawing a more monstrous Venom, complete with jagged teeth, elongated jaw, and serpentine tongue. Only Mark Bagley would blend the two together in his style and make a great version for future artists. Something I'm going to tell you, Lowell Lucas Jr., that might make you angry. I had the opportunity to buy the first appearance of Venom today, and Mary put her foot down and said no.
Of course I said no.
Mm-hmm.
The Todd McFarlane thing with the Spawn, I don't think Spawn would have been as iconic as it is now without those. Hi, I'm I'm creator of Spawn, Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, I'm Todd McFarlane, creator.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
That's where our hero finds himself today, in an alleyway, staring at a ghost.
No,
or maybe it was just a bad dream.
I think one of the reasons that I joke around about that is because I find it incredibly cool. And it's too cool for me. Like, I would never be able to do that. I'm not cool enough, but he was like, he's pretty badass. So.
I mean, he cultivated an image for himself, didn't he?
Yeah, and I love it.
Right, okay, so to finish off the comment, to you all, may you all take care and seize the day. I'm going to take my drops to heal, but hopefully we'll be well again for the next Totally Schway. Thank you all so much. Also, anime dubs are fine, just depends on the project, and subs are great, but not everyone's a hit. Look at Project ACO/FLCL, Mikey P.
What were we watching recently?
That was dubbed?
No, that the subtitles were just completely wrong.
I don't remember.
By the way, Lowell Lucas Jr., I'm still putting you in my good thoughts and putting all of my good vibes to you. And I'm going to be super jealous when you have better vision than I do in a week or so, or not a week or so, in a couple months or whatever. I'm going to be extremely jealous because my thick glasses. Every time I look down to Luke, sometimes I just want to start saying, "Hello, Luke," because I feel like I have 80-year-old eyes.
Mm-hmm. Next, we have Ryan Jones. Hello, Ryan. Hope you're well. He says, my favourite bit characters are Yoshi in the Mario games. That's a good one.
Knuckles. Oh my god, yeah, that's perfect.
Knuckles is a good one. Vector the Crocodile and Shadow from Sonic the Hedgehog games. Rex, Ham, and Slinky Dog from the Toy Story movies. Jiminy Cricket from Disney's Pinocchio. And finally, Grandpa Pickles from Rugrats. Oh, Grandpa Pickles.
Oh, shut the front door. Shut the front door. I didn't watch a ton of Rugrats because I didn't have cable back then, but when I did watch Rugrats, I loved it, and Grandpa Pickles was my favorite.
Continuing the comment, it says, Luke, I have some ideas for shows for you and Mary to watch for your podcast, assuming you two have not watched these shows. that I've talked about. Totally Spies, Powerpuff Girls, 2012's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Super Mario Brothers Super Show, Agatha All Along, and Duck Dodgers, the cartoon show, not the short. I have seen some Powerpuff Girls,
Same.
2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Duck Dodgers.
We meant to watch Agatha Christie around Christmas time.
Agatha Christie? Agatha All Along.
Why did I say Agatha Christie? I don't know. Agatha All Along. We meant to watch that, but I don't. It just slipped my mind, didn't it? Because it was because I was playing Astrobot, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And that was the game that we couldn't remember that Mary had been playing.
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah. Fun fact, the Lion King sequels are known to be the best of Disney's direct-to-video sequels, and do agree with it. Fair enough.
I've heard that.
I watched one of them when it first came out, and I was a teenager then, I assume. I might have been just approaching teenagehood, if that's even a word.
I don't think I've seen any of them other than the original Lion King.
Yeah, I can't remember liking it very much. It was the one where Simba's daughter falls in love with a lion that looks like Scar, and he's disapproving. But anyway.
You mean an emo guy?
Yeah.
An emo lion.
An emo lion with black hair, yes.
Tonight. I can't even do the TikTok thing.
Next, we have Harry Flew TV, who says, I would say the band of my favourite BTS character, but you and Luke have known me long enough on this podcast to guess who it is. So I'll just say that my favourite TV show characters are Master Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Terra from the OG Teen Titans series, and Jax from the Amazing Digital Circus. I know they aren't technically bit characters, so I'll say my favourite actual bit characters are Detective Adrian Kent from David Near's The Morgue Files series, Eric and Maeve from Sex Education, along with Tony from 13 Reasons Why. Also, my favourite Disney bit characters are Jasper and Horace from 101 Dalmatians. They're underrated as hell, and not enough people talk about them. And also Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz, but everyone knows him, lol. Also, Luke, you should go into voice acting with all the different voices you put on in this video. Have a great week, you guys. I love your podcasts, and they really help me sleep at night. The only annoying thing being that I'll fall asleep halfway and find my place from where I left off when I wake up. Have a lovely one, you two.
Thank you so much for saying that about Luke, but it's funny you say that, because you can actually hear some of Luke's voice acting in a Watchtower database episode thing.
Yeah, they did a video, Will It Canon for Cape Crusader. I've shared a link to it already, and hopefully you all watch it. I must admit, I put a comment out on the video saying, "Oh, thanks for letting me be involved in this," and one of our regular listeners responded, "Were you even in this?" I'm like, "Ouch! Ouch!"
Is his name Big Mikey?
No.
Ballon?
No, although Big Mikey P did comment, and he said,
"Okay, that's the only person I knew that commented."
Actually, Big Mikey P, you said, you said you knew I was one of the mean British voices. I was all of them. They were all mean.
Luke is just mean. He's not really.
Well, I can be.
I was about to say, yeah, if you kind of cross him in a bad way, he is not nice.
Well, yeah.
Luckily, he is a perfect angel with me.
But yes, go and check that video out if you haven't already. It is an hour long. I've got I don't know, maybe 15 lines in the whole thing.
I have something to say to add to this comment. I used to listen to your voice to go to sleep too, didn't I?
You did.
It was very nice.
Speaking of, so no, just reminded me. I did. I was feeling a bit frustrated the other day, so I did a cursory Google search because I was trying to basically. Well, I look into my YouTube analytics a lot, and about 1% of my views come from Reddit. So I was like, okay, where is this being shared, and how is it? How are people interacting with it? So I did Serum Lake Reddit search because I don't use Reddit, and I don't really find very much there. So I have to assume that they're kind of buried in somewhere. But I did find someone saying that, well, there were a couple of people talking about my channel on a separate thing, and one of the people said that they enjoyed listening to the podcast and it helped them sleep. Was that you, Harry, using a different account on Reddit, or is it just more than one person likes listening to us when they go to sleep?
I think it's mainly just your voice. My voice is quite annoying. I don't think so. It's very nasally and wah, wah, wah. Yours
I don't think so.
Butter.
No, my voice is not butter.
It's to me, it's butter. Mm-hmm. And I'm a diabetic. So Perfect.
It's terrible. All right, let's move on to the next comment. David Carney. Hello, David.
Hello.
He says, "Hi, Mary and Luke. I agree with you, Luke, about Principal Lewis. He's my favourite character from American Dad.
I just love it.
Another character is Dr. Jimmy Palmer from NCIS, who was supposed to be for one episode. He has survived being held hostage as well as being infected with a virus. Brian Dietzen co-wrote the episode about Ducky's passing after David McCallum passed away. Keep up the great work, both of you."
I am so surprised that I think that show is still going in CSI.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind that show, actually. My grandparents used to watch it religiously. And occasionally I would be in there and just be like, hey, Grammy Grams and Papa.
I remember they watched it while I was over there.
And I would catch the episodes, and I again, I didn't hate it. I kind of liked it, but there's so many. Like, that is a show that I would never start from the beginning because there are too many episodes to catch up on. It would be like 3 years from now that I would actually get caught up. So many episodes.
Okay, next we have Doc Widener, who says, "Thank goodness you're here.
What's up, Doc?
We'll need to change my greeting. I hope you liked it." Yeah, I did like it. I'm going to try and get the platinum on it. I mean, it doesn't seem too hard. I missed a couple of trophies in it, but I've looked up how to do it. So I'll just do one more playthrough and get them.
I love the animation in that.
Yes,
it's so up my alley.
The last section of the game, like the last bit, with a little song of you doing all these different tasks, was very frantic and frenzied. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. And it kind of drove me mad by the end. But I liked it. Yes.
Oh, I have a game to recommend.
Medieval 2. I'm going to be playing that next.
No, I don't know. A lot of people don't know about this game, but it is one of my all-time favorite games. It's called XEXYZ, and it was on the just Nintendo. So if you guys can find a way to play that, you should play it too. It's such a good game. Such a good game.
So now I'm going to continue Doc's comment, who says, "I've never seen American Dad. I do like the Orville, but the missus and I didn't watch Family Guy. We both disliked the pilots, so we never gave either shows additional views. Never watched Grey's Anatomy. When I think of that show, I think of Lost, because they had lots of ads for Grey's during it. Yeah. Lost had a huge cast, but by the nature of its setting, a bit character might be hard. For the arc of the series, Mr. Echo, played by Adewale Akinnuoye Agbaji. Oh, he's Adiwal Oh my goodness, I can't. Even when you spelled it out phonetically, I'm struggling. Adiwale Akinnoya Ogbaze. Okay. Might have been a bit character I really liked. But for the season he was on, I don't think he qualifies. So let's go with Katie Siegel as the long-time girlfriend of John Locke. Different role from what she's better known for, but is very believable as a woman struggling in a relationship with a man who can't see what is right in front of him.
Katie's like V.
I assume so.
I love her so much.
Oh, Katie Sagal, sorry.
Yeah, I love her so much.
I've probably mispronounced her name entirely, but anyway.
He's mispronounced so many things.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an attraction for this show. Like, how is he going to mess up this word?
And the fact that we haven't slept very well for the past week.
Month. Life. Like a lot of things about Man of Steel, except for the way they handled Superman. I did like Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White, but it is hard to see him in anything and not think of Cowboy Curtis. Lois and Perry, perhaps? Oh, wait, you just got there. Makes me think of Lulas, The Legendary Journeys, and its spin-off Xena Warrior Princess. For the joke to work better should have been Gabrielle Warrior, but Lucy isn't like the other two. Also, look for Renee O'Connor unboxing her Funko. Hate Funkos all you want, but that was adorable. Blackadder sounds like a clever concept. I can hear American TV execs complaining that it's too difficult for the average American to follow. Most US shows like this, very few episodes were not designed to be short. They were cancelled before their time and ended up being great. We've mentioned a few of these before. Firefly, My So-Called Life, and Freaks and Geeks.
I still have not watched Firefly.
Most deliberately short series were the mini-series of my youth and were big-budget productions run in November, February or May, which are the months that advertisers looked at ratings to determine what would play for the upcoming season. July is also a sweeps month, but for the longest time was kind of ignored. TV seasons follow the school year for some reason. Anywho, you would get something like V or Roots or North and South, and they're often weaker sequels and even weaker series looking at UV, which would diminish the original in a way. Okay, since you have now mentioned two Seth shows, I will circle back and pick Yaphet as my favourite character on the Orville. Though maybe he is too much of a regular. Voiced by the late Norm MacDonald, he was just this blob that is part of the crew and is mostly there for comic relief. I always thought Todd was trying to be a bit of a Rod Serling in those Spawn intros. I cannot imagine there is anything in your house that would bring Todd to mind. Yes. Sergey and his boyfriend keep saying, "Can't say I remember, no at in." We've been really enjoying Sheldon Crew on Disney Plus. Probably my favourite Disney Star Wars show after Andor.
Is that the one with Jude Law?
I don't know, I've not watched it. Two thoughts on Barney the dinosaur. One, Animaniacs had a Barney-like character, much like Beethoven or Einstein segments. They made the poor guy absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
Two, back in the day, the missus and I were out in BFE. Mary, do you know this one? Not for polite company. BFE?
BFE. No.
Yeah. Anyhow, we were in a part of Ohio with not much radio reception, so we were listening to 700 WLW out of Cincinnati, which is 50,000 watt station, so you can hear it over most of the eastern US, depending on the time of the day. For my life, they have always been talk radio, but not syndicated shows like Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity, but local talent. Anyway, they were interviewing some fundamentalist guy about Barney. This would have been in the 90s when he first came out. The host asked the guest about what was so bad about Barney. He teaches sharing, being good to each other, and loves the kids. The guy replies, and this is the Mary line to deliver in her strongest accent. Read it out.
In my real accent.
In the thickest accent you can do.
Okay, in a thick accent. The love between a boy and a die, no sir. It's unnatural love. I can actually hear like one of my great auntie saying that.
The love between a boy and a dinosaur is an unnatural love.
My auntie, my great auntie, who is still alive in Texas, and occasionally pops in and allegedly looks at my Facebook from time to time.
It's not much to see.
Yeah, she sounds like that because she is a creep and deserves every red light she gets.
That's a very nice way of saying burn in hell. Continuing. Only one CUC. I just gave two phonetic options. I've probably mispronounced it there anyway. Finally, I'm sending you sledding pics, Mary. Yes, she's seen those. So by the time Luke reads this, sent is the correct tense. Actually, I'm writing this as Daniel is sledding. Shari bought the sled for Sergey years ago. Need to rework the padding, which isn't in the picture. Why I need to rework it. But it is steerable and can really get going. You mentioned Athens, about an hour from here, home of Ohio University, not to be confused with the Ohio State University. Anyhow, the hill Daniel is sledding on is next to an OU, not to be confused with Oklahoma University.
I know, that was always so confusing when people talked about that. I knew actually two people who went to or that got into Ohio University when I was in high school, and they kept saying, "Yeah, I go to OU," and I'm like, "Oh, Sooners, yeah." They were like, "No."
Athens, Ohio is very pretty, your stereotypical Midwestern college town nestled among 7 hills like its namesake.
So the BFE, I've just looked this up. Is that base flood elevation? Because I'm not sure.
No, I don't think that's...
British film editors?
I was going to say big effing something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
We'll find out. I think Luke knows this as well. I was very jealous of the sledding photographs, but I think Luke and I both know me enough to know that I would break something. And it would probably be a foot, a hand, and I'd probably break my nose for the 3rd time. But I would still have fun, and I'm very jealous because we haven't got... I think we got like a tiny bit of snow the other day, but other than that, we haven't had any because it's been far too, with global warming and all, it has been far too warm for even the sleet stuff doesn't even stick very much. Yeah, so jealous.
Right, on to the last comment from A1ML33Y, Julia Raoul.
Yeah.
Who says, Happy New Year, Mary. I hope you had some fun drinking umbrella drinks and dancing with dirty naked freaks, to quote Ving Rhames from Con Air.
I drink orange juice and Diet Coke.
Yeah, and if by dirty naked freaks you mean Gilgamesh, then yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he did try a little bit of orange juice, but he did that thing that cats do, and he does it every single time I get something to drink. No.
So let me tell you something, Mean Mary Jean, about my favourite supporting characters in shows I really like. First on my list is J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man 94, as played by Ez Asner. Always made me laugh whenever he would insult Spidey and Boss Peter around. Ed Asner made me really like JJ and all his bluster and fury at Spider-Man. Also, my other favourite supporting character from Spidey 94 is Deborah Whitman, who dated Peter in the 80s comic. Norman Osborn pre-Green Lantern being blackmailed by Kingpin, I assume that's Green Goblin, in season 1 to 3. Was always fun to watch, to see the day where he goes inside and kidnaps JJ, Kingpin and MJ as the Green Goblin. I liked Eddie Brock pre-Venom in Spidey 94 and how he ruined his own career in losing his job. He got better, asked Tom Hardy. Hee. And lastly, for Spider-Man 94, my favourite supporting characters are MJ and Felicia pre-Black Cat. I like how she had a little romance with Peter before moving on to Michael Morbius. I watched this show for the soap opera and love triangles. Also special mention, the Dr. Kirk Connors, when he wasn't turning into the Lizard, and Dr. Mariah Crawford, who helped Spidey out when he really needed it, like with the alien costume and the Man-Spider mutation. The only character I wish was a series regular were Iceman and Firestar, because I really want the 94 versions of Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Anyway, I feel like I watch 90s cartoons and current MCU shows for the supporting characters. I find them interesting when the heroes are just being regular people. I like Darcy from the Thor movies, she's hilarious. And I like Afbet Cousin with his dead dab humour, and Yondu, who Mary Poppins y'all. Oh, Yondu, got it. Lol. I'm in a good mood, mostly because Hulk Hogan got booed the F out of on Netflix. That brought me some joy because Hulk Hogan is a prolific liar and a racist. So he can get booted forever. Hence your Hulk Hogan reference earlier when you said...
Jazz Snaps, we love you, because I did not watch it, but I've heard many things about it on TikTok, and I would have booed him too. I would have booed him more than I would have booed it getting dark at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. I mean, at 3 p.m.
I mean, I'd be pretty mad if it only started getting dark at 3 a.m. as well. It is like that sometimes. It's like, I remember like the other year, it was like 11:30 and the sun was almost down. Go to sleep!
No, we're, well, I'm going to speak for both of us. We do not like Hulk Hogan for many reasons. And one of those reasons happens to be that, dude, stop ripping your shirt. It's wasteful.
It is a bit.
And other things that are obvious, but I don't want to get on my high horse.
No, but why don't we ride our high horse into the sunset and let people know what's coming up next time?
Yeah, I just did my pop socket out. Let me get ready for this.
I know which one it is. It's right there on my screen.
I can't read that.
Shall I just say it?
Yeah.
What made 90s cartoons so special? That was the topic you selected.
I think that'll be a good one.
It will be.
Yeah.
I've got some very strong opinions on this.
I'm not even going to prepare. I'm going to do it just without... No, I'm going to make notes. I thought I was going to not make notes, but I'm going to make notes. I think 90s TV show or 90s cartoons were superior.
Yeah, I think so. Transformative. It was a transformative period for many reasons, and not just because of Batman.
Now, should we Wayne's World it out of here? Okay, I love you guys so much, and thank you so much. Well, just thank you in general. Even if you didn't get this far, you wouldn't be listening to this, but I really, really, really love you guys, and I hope that you're all keeping safe and you're getting warm and you're eating your vegetables and you're all healthy, because we all need to stand with each other and show each other appreciation, because we live in a world that seems a little dreary, well, a lot dreary. And if we stick together and we bring some joy to each other, that can make it a hell of a lot easier to get through this life. And I want to thank you guys again for just being so kind to me and just being who you are, because it's refreshing to look in the comments and just see people having conversations with us and not saying mean things and just talking about the things that you want to talk about. Because remember about this channel, it's my channel and it's your channel, and we can talk about whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Have a great night.